Hello, classmates. Last lesson, we learned about the composition of the power system. It is composed of power plants, substations, transmission lines, distribution systems, loads, and other components. So, what are the types of power plants? This is the key focus of today's lesson. We will master the basic concepts of power plants, their fundamental types, as well as the working principles and power generation processes of various types of power plants. Furthermore, through this study, we will develop a sense of the bigger picture, standardization, safety, as well as awareness of carbon peak goals and environmental protection. The key and challenging points of this lesson are the working principles and power generation processes of various types of power plants. First, let's learn the basic concept of a power plant. Before learning this basic concept, everyone must understand primary energy and secondary energy. Primary energy is energy extracted directly from nature, such as coal, petroleum, natural gas, hydropower resources, nuclear materials, etc. This primary energy can be used directly or transported and converted for utilization. For example, coal can be burned directly after mining or transported to another location for combustion and use. Secondary energy is another form of energy obtained by processing and converting primary energy. Examples include electricity, gas, steam, and coke. It must first be processed and utilized, then converted and transported. A power plant is a facility that converts various forms of primary energy into secondary energy. Everyone must be careful not to confuse primary energy with secondary energy. Next, let's continue learning about the types of power plants. There are four main types of power plants. First, thermal power plants. They are facilities that generate electricity using coal, petroleum, or natural gas as fuel. Second, hydropower plants. They convert the potential and kinetic energy of water into electrical energy, also known as hydroelectric stations. Third, nuclear power plants. They use nuclear fission to heat water into steam, which then drives steam turbines to rotate generators and produce electricity. Fourth, new energy power plants. New energy generally refers to renewable energy developed and utilized based on new technologies. This includes solar, biomass, wind, geothermal, wave, ocean, and tidal energy. It utilizes new technologies and new energy sources to achieve power generation. Here's a question for everyone. Is the electricity generated by these four types of power plants primary or secondary energy? Because equipment in places like power plants operates under high temperature, high water pressure, high voltage, high current, high magnetic fields, and other conditions, safety incidents are prone to occur. Therefore, safety is very important. Everyone studying this course must pay attention to personal safety, equipment operational safety, and system production safety. Next, let's analyze the types of various power plants in detail. Please look at the pictures. This is the classification of thermal power plants. Based on the prime mover, they can be classified into condensing thermal power plants, cogeneration plants, gas turbine power plants, and internal combustion engine power plants. Based on fuel, they can also be classified into coal-fired, oil-fired, and gas-fired power plants. The process of generating electricity is accomplished through the following three systems. First, the combustion system. Second, the steam-water system, the electrical system. Because thermal power plants use coal as fuel, their exhaust emissions contain pollutants such as nitrogen oxides, sulfur dioxide, and carbon monoxide. Currently, there are over 1,000 thermal power plants in our country, all striving to achieve the dual carbon goals. For example, the Gwining Shingli Power Plant in Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region officially commissioned its 2 by 660 megawatts units. This power plant uses ultra-supercritical indirect air-cooled coal-fired units. It is a key supporting power source project for the Xilingal League coal power base to Shandong 1000 kV UHV transmission corridor. This type of thermal power plant intensively applies advanced technological innovation, energy saving, and environmental protection technologies. Its energy consumption and environmental protection indicators lead the industry. Among these, the 2 units 1 tower and 5 towers in 1 technologies are world firsts. It also successfully obtained the Guinness World Record for the world's tallest cooling tower. The high-moisture lignite high-power plasma ignition technology used also filled a domestic technological gap. Therefore, every one of us in the power industry has a heavy responsibility we must enhance environmental awareness and achieve innovative development. Second, the classification of hydropower plants. There are two main forms. One is the dam type. Generally, the drop in river water level is dispersed along the river. To increase the head, a dam is built upstream to store water, raise the head, and generate electricity through turbines. As everyone knows, the Three Gorges hydropower station is a famous example. Such plants are usually subdivided into behind the dam and run-of-river types. Diversion type, a weir is built in a steep section of the river to divert water. Then, through a man-made conduit, the water is directed to a point downstream where the head is concentrated. It then flows through a penstock to a turbine for power generation. Next, let's look at the classification of nuclear power plant. They are distinguished by the type of reactor. There are 6 types: pressurized water reactor, PWR, boiling water reactor, BWR, heavy water reactor, HWR, graphite moderated water-cooled reactor, graphite moderated gas-cooled reactor, high-temperature gas-cooled reactor, HTGR, and fast breeder reactor, FBR. Nuclear power is a safe and clean energy source. Utilizing it can greatly save coal and reduce pollution. A 1 gigawatt thermal power plant burns 9,600 tons of coal per day. In contrast, a nuclear power plant of the same capacity, 1 gigawatt, requires only 3.3 kilograms of U-235 per day. The difference in fuel consumption for plants of the same capacity is 3 million times. From the perspective of energy density, the energy density of nuclear fuel is millions of times higher than that of fossil fuel. Fourth, the classification of new energy power plants. There is solar photovoltaic, PV, power generation. Solar PV generation directly converts solar light into electricity through the photovoltaic effect in PV cells. Wind power generation converts wind energy into electrical energy. Wind energy is a renewable energy, so geothermal power generation. Geothermal energy itself is a vast heat reservoir. Geothermal resources are found all over the world. Just within 10 kilometers of the Earth's surface, there is exploitable heat energy. The reserves of geothermal energy are enormous. Its total quantity is about 170 million times that of coal. In our 5,000 years of history, the earliest energy used by humans was biomass energy. It is only in the last 260 years, since the first industrial revolution, that the various types of power plants mentioned above were successively created. This is the result of industrialization and continuous technological innovation. Classmates, you should know that to achieve the 2060 carbon neutrality goal, we must uphold a rigorous scientific attitude and a spirit of diligent exploration, continuously improve innovation and thinking skills, and stimulate the initiative for independent exploration and active learning. Alright, the above is the content of this lesson. In this lesson, we mainly explained the basic types of power plants, their working principles, and power generation processes. Next, please divide into groups to review and discuss the following 2 questions. 1. What are the basic types of power plants? 2. What is the energy conversion process in thermal power plants, hydropower plants, nuclear power plants, and wind power plants during electricity generation? I hope that through discussing questions, exchanging ideas, and sharing results, everyone will develop a spirit of teamwork and collaboration. Okay, thank you, everyone.